Here we go. Welcome to the Buck and Mike Experience,
Experience sports like you never have before.
where the buck stops
And the mic drops.
Damn. One of these
And-
days I'll learn my line.
And don't forget that you can jump to chapters in the YouTube video, so you don't have to just sit here and watch one thing. You can just jump to the other and just
we're
straight up
gonna-
listen to that.
We're going to touch around, get into some things. We're going to...
And tonight's episode is sponsored.
Oh, yes, it is true. Tonight's episode is sponsored by S&K Consulting and Stephen Farmer. If you need help with your career, resume, all that fun stuff, you get with my guy Stephen. He'll help you out, practice interviews, all that fun stuff. So, with that, all the fun stuff there, how about this? How's your week?
Not bad. I got a massage, and I feel better.
Well, hey, that always helps. Good massage.
Massages are great.
Yeah,
I recommend them to everybody.
massages are pretty good. My wife likes to get them. I can't say that I ever have. I don't think I've ever had a true blue, real, massage.
They have different kinds. Like, you can get a sports massage, and that's good.
I have a massage gun, and one of the things that punches you. Does that count?
Man, I'm telling you, in that sport massage, they're getting in there. Oh man,
I'm kind of a wuss.
Game
though.
changer.
I'm not even gonna act like it.
well,
It's like
they
a
have
little
different levels, so you can, a little soft.
My
you
wife
know.
always tells me she needs the strongest guy to give her the massage because she likes the tough dig, and I'm like, well then I want the smallest, most petite little girl to come in and just be like, it's okay,
I'm like, get
sir.
in there,
It'll
get
be
that
alright.
going.
We've got you. I'm not even act like it. So, but yeah. So with that, we'll get diving in and have a good old time. Where do you want to start out with tonight?
It's going on right now, so I think we should start with the NBA. We have to start with
Completely
it.
can agree with that. As we sit here with the Los Angeles Lakers playing right now and currently down by 15 without Ja Morant to the Grizzlies at the half, as a plethora of injuries happened over the first
There was
weekend
a
of
lot.
basketball.
That was the craziest I've ever seen.
Giannis is out game 2 for sure. Tyler Hero broke his hand. He's done for...
He's probably done.
I would say he's probably done for the playoffs, barring... even if they get by the Bucks, with Giannis out, which I don't think they get by the Bucks still, but if they can pull off game 2 with no Giannis and go up 2-0 on the road, that Jimmy Butler's a hater of one of those guys that he gets to work.
Yeah.
So that
That's
could get
true.
interesting, seeing that. I think
Jaw getting hurt.
Jaw's hurt. He's out tonight.
And Anthony Davis got hurt, even though he's back.
Yeah, AD got hurt. He came back, but we're kind of used to AD getting hurt.
Yeah, well, yeah. And
I
then
mean, street
Julius
clothes.
Randle got hurt.
This is true. Randall.
And
there were
I
a
actually
ton
read
of
something.
big name players.
I read that there might be a problem in the NBA with the charge, because every single one of those injuries came off a charge.
Huh.
If you go back and watch, every single one of them came off a charge.
Which
And
is
they're
crazy
starting to
because
talk
it's not
about
something
there
that's
might
called
be-
that often in an NBA game.
Yeah,
in
it's
college,
because
you see it
they're
all the
not
time.
trying to play defense. They're just like, oh, get in front of him and get the charge, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, I've heard a little bit of it that that's kind of an issue that's going on.
Huh.
That maybe the charge is just a bigger issue than people like to say.
I wouldn't be shocked if we see it being maybe it's a technique issue, because some of these
I think
guys
so.
of these guys are really good at drawing a charge in the college level. And then they get to the NBA and they don't
Jaw,
do it.
his is more from the athleticism of what he was trying to do. And
Oh
he just
yeah,
came down
he
on.
just jumped,
Like-
and that's. But I feel like you see a lot of the injuries when it comes to things like that. The star players are the ones that get drafted, and it's not the star players doing screens and doing all that stuff at the college level. And so I think you see a lot of form issues that are leading to some of these slide-in late charge attempts and things like that.
Yeah, that could
And
be.
so I think that's just coaching. I think that coaches need to get more strict about teaching, certain... We see fundamentals kind of slide away sometimes when you get to the higher levels until they get in a slump, and then all those guys can go back to what their basic roots are and get out of it. So
Yeah. The other big injury that happened was, Sabonis getting his a bruised chest.
yeah, from a stomp.
Hey, let's go ahead and talk about that.
Let's do it, because I don't hate Draymond Green. He was one of those guys that I saw coming out of college, out of Michigan State, that I was like, that guy's gonna be good. He's going to be a good basketball player. A team's going to win because of him. And if you ask me, the Warriors win because of him. Like, multiple titles are big
100%.
because of what he brings to that team.
Yeah, he just brings that little bit extra that they need.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, I don't know if you heard Shaq talk about this, but I agree with Shaq. Like, I'm not mad at him for doing it.
No, not at all.
Like,
Sabonis grabbed his ankle.
Yeah, he grabbed his ankle. It doesn't matter if it was
but-
just barely. Don't grab the ankle.
And apparently he had gotten grabbed the game before. And if you're Draymond, I get, if you're any other player and you do the same situation, I don't think you get suspended. I think a lot of this...
Oh, no, they came out and said it's because of his history of getting suspended.
A large
that they're
part of
doing
the
it.
problem is that Draymond has a history of being the bad boy.
Yep.
And I think that if he doesn't have that history, we're looking at a different story.
Yeah,
So
100%.
that, I mean, it's a just suspension in my opinion, but I can see why. I can also see how you can defend what he did.
Yeah.
So
I
especially
agree
because
with
Sabonis
the
is the
suspension.
best player on the other team right now, besides De'Aaron Fox, possibly.
Like,
so.
I agree with the suspension that he definitely should have gotten it because it was an egregious play. Like, he should have done it. But at the same time, it wouldn't have happened if Sabonis didn't grab his leg. So because he did it, even though I think it was egregious, I don't think it was the wrong thing to do. Like, I mean, you got to do something. If someone's grabbing your leg, do something.
For sure.
I'm going to do it. I'm not going to try to play dirty, but if you're going to do something like that, well, don't grab me. You're getting it right back.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's exactly what Shaq said. And I love the fact that he came out and he was like, look, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I would do it too.
Oh God, did you imagine 7'1" Shaq? Oh my God, that's caving in your chest.
And
like,
see,
that's it.
My only thing though is, I feel like the NBA should at least fine Sabonis. Like, I know he got a tech.
He got the T.
But I still feel like he should get fined for doing that because he caused the issue to happen.
He did lead to what he enticed Draymond to get to that level, but Draymond still took it a step farther than he needed to. So I think
I like how you did that.
Yeah,
you took it a step further.
I think the technical foul was good enough though, and I don't see any reason to suspend him. Other than that, the series to watch right now to watch though is that Clippers and Suns series because Kawhi Leonard's playing the best basketball on the floor. Russ is dialing back some kind of clock because he's balled out the first two games.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of them, and this is what I have to say. I'm not a Russ fan at all, but if there's a player that I hate more than Russ, it's Devin Booker.
Yeah, I know a lot of Mavs fans don't like Devin Booker. I don't like Devin Booker.
So
I don't like Kevin Durant.
That kind
because of their association, I don't care for Chris Paul. Like,
it kind of makes me go, you know what? I want the Clippers to win just because I don't like Devin Booker.
I have money on the Clippers, so I'm biased, but I want the Clippers to win too.
Obviously, you would. I mean,
but
we
really,
talked about that last week.
I'm not a fan of Kawhi Leonard. I never have been. I think he's a very good basketball player. I like the way he plays. And if Paul George was playing in this series right now, I think the Clippers are far and away playing better basketball.
I mean, they probably would.
I really think they do. With Paul George out, the issues are going to come down to... I think it's going to come down to this series goes 6-7 games. I don't know how well the Suns hold up because their starting five is it.
Yeah, they
their
have
bench
no bench.
is awful. It hasn't done anything.
That's what happens whenever you trade for Kevin Durant.
Exactly. Their bench has done nothing the last two games. And I just see this situation where we watched this happen to the Suns last year, where the thing that led to them losing to the Mavs was by game 6 and 7, Chris Paul was done. Like, he was exhausted.
Yeah.
And Devin Booker's exhausted at that point because he's trying to score every basket. And so I just don't think with their rotation of non-existing bench play, they have to win every series in 5 games. Because if you push them farther than that, I think
they're going to be done by the time.
I mean,
if they win all the way,
there is help from Durant,
they'll be
obviously
done.
on the scoring side, but if they keep winning, I don't see them beating whoever they meet out of the East because I just don't think they'll have the energy left in the tank. So that'll be a fun one. We already talked about Giannis is hurt, so the Bulls have a lead there. The Kings have, even with Draymond, the Kings have outplayed the Warriors.
So let's definitely talk about the Kings because The Kings are. I'm not going to.
We said
thought-
last week, both of us did, that the Kings could be written off, that the Warriors are moving on. On tape, I'll admit I was wrong. That is a darn good basketball team, and the trade last year that got Sabonis to the Kings, that sends the young guard whose name is slipping my mind to the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton.
Oh, Halliburton, yeah.
That is the most definition of a win-win trade I have ever seen. Because everyone, when that trade happened, was the Kings were just getting crapped on. Why would you give away a young guard? You haven't proven anything from De'Aaron Fox. And De'Aaron Fox goes on to win Clutchest Player in the League award. Demonis has been an all-star.
Pretty much turned his career around.
Oh, absolutely.
And that all comes back to Mike Brown.
It does. Good coaching, and I love the faith from the organization because the organization said, no, listen, you're our guy. And they got what they took Halliburton. They got a big, which is what they needed. A big that used to play for Oklahoma. Sadness. But they took that piece and made that team better. And props. Because the Pacers have a future coming with a guy like Halliburton to build around, who was a double-double machine this year in points and assists.
Well, back to the Kings, what I was going to bring up was, so Mike Brown is going to be Coach of the Year.
He already got it. He won it tonight.
So, did you hear that he's the first ever unanimous pick since the inception, since 62, 63 season?
It's a surprise that he's the first to ever do it, but I can totally agree.
I saw that and I was like, whew, that's pretty cool.
Because the other finalists,
unanimous, like nobody was even close.
The other finalists were Mark Diawala, the Thunder coach, whose last name I'll never be able to say, and he did turn that team
you
around.
root for? You
I can't say our coach's last name. I know it's Mark and it starts with a D, but it's like Diagluda or something. He did a great job turning that team around, especially without his number 2 pick. Props to him. And then the other one I want to say was Mazzaro, the guy that took the place of the Celtics coach. So, yeah, say his last name. I see you looking it up. Say it.
Dagnall?
Diagonal Tail too? Yeah. Dude's doing a good job, but I can't say his name. You need your computer to say his name for you? Oh, I thought that was going to say it.
Dagnall.
You found pronunciation?
Dagnall.
Dagnall. Okay. Dagnall. I don't know. We hired him.
Yeah,
He's
I mean,
done a
you
good job.
should know the note part. You know LaVisca Chenault.
This is true. Spelled different.
No, it isn't.
But, and I will say the other thing the Kings have going for them is the Kings have the coolest team victory thing ever. The Light the Beam is freaking awesome. Have you seen the beam when it lights up? They have a button that a player goes over and pushes, and the stadium shoots a purple light straight into the sky from the center of the building. It is freaking awesome.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They literally, every time they win, they light the beam. They put that beam in this season.
That's pretty cool.
And the players said, well, if we're going to have this beam, we better light it up. And damn well they did all season.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool. Okay.
I don't know why I find it so cool, but if
Yeah,
I was
no,
on my
that-
team,
that-
I'd be like selfie with the beam.
Yeah,
That'd
that's
be
pretty
awesome.
cool. It's no other team has something like that.
No,
I know of.
not at
I've
all.
never seen anything like it.
It's almost like the University of Miami football made turnover chains cool. Now
Yes.
everyone is
Now
taking
everyone's got
anything.
something.
Like
Yeah.
the Mariners now have the home run trident, which is pretty cool because they're the Mariners.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But like the beam is like the Kings thing. Like we win.
like
the beam.
what team is that that's got the dong bone? There's a team that's got a
I
dong
want to say
bone.
that was the Orioles. which
It's the Orioles.
I'm totally
It is.
cool with it.
They're trying to call it something else, but like
No,
it was like nope, that's
it's
the dong
okay.
bone.
We know what it is. Us true users know. So other than that, I think the Nuggets are going to take care of business. The Celtics have basically already handled it. Knicks and Cavs is going to be pretty fun. Both teams are solid. And I was not a huge fan of... I love Darius Garland, so I'd like to see him win. Donovan Mitchell was not my favorite player, but they have so many good defensive players that his offense is all they need. He doesn't have to play defense. So... But, I mean, all in all, the playoffs have been fun. We're keeping an eye on them right now. Like we said, we know the Lakers are playing now, down by 15.
Yep.
Austin Reeves better
So,
get it together because I love that guy scored 19 points, was fourth on the team in points, and he was like, I'm that guy as he closed out the fourth quarter for the Lakers in Game 1. So
And LeBron knew it. He knew it from the day that they had him. He was going to be that dude.
well, you know that
LeBron knew it.
that kid was drafted or was offered to be drafted by the Pistons. They wanted to pick him with the 42nd pick, and he told them, no, don't pick me. And because he wanted to play with the Lakers, and he went to undrafted, was a free agent, and signed with the Lakers. So I guess that's the definition of betting on yourself.
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
the Lakers were to have been not interested in you, like the Lakers would have been in
someone
trouble
else
right
would
now.
have picked him up.
Oh yeah, but
That is
Man.
funny though.
so that's interesting.
Of course, local news: the Mavs were fined $750,000.
They were, and Mark Cuban made a joke of it by donating an additional $750,000
he always does
to
it.
charity.
Every time he gets fined, he does that.
He
I
doesn't
love
care.
it.
It's. Chris Johnson put on the Facebook page about what was so wrong with what they did. Like everyone tanks. It was the manner that they.
Yeah, it was.
If you're struggling to figure out why they deserved it.
Yeah, even as a Mavericks fan, like 100% deserved it. Even Cuban knew he deserved it.
At the end of the day, it affects the integrity of the sport
And
and the results of the draft.
And result of the draft was the biggest thing.
It
That
is.
was really why it was a bigger deal. Like if the Mavericks still had possession of their own pick, I don't think it would have been that big of a deal. No one would have.
Yeah, but with their pick
but
being
because
on hinging their draft positioning, and it also affected the playoff race because the Mavs basically locked the Oklahoma City Thunder up as in because of that loss. Like that was what got Oklahoma in.
and apparently Luka and Kyrie were against it. Like they didn't want to do it. Like they were against it. It was even apparently Jason Kidd even was against it. It was a Mark Cuban thing.
Well,
like it was his decision.
I mean, if you just would have gone the organic tanking method, as in just let Jason Kidd keep coaching, they would have lost. Like Jason Kidd had done a good enough job at losing by trying to win.
That is true. And then
So,
you could have just fired him and got somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, really,
Yeah.
you just go with that organic tank method. Like, that's what I talked about when I explained to Chris is that, yes, we see teams tank. The Pistons, as soon as they lost Cade Cunningham this season, 100% said, we don't care about how the development of the other guys go. Let's get Jaden Ivey, last year's top pick, all the minutes he wants, and let's try to be awful.
Yeah.
And their GM even said, the result of this season will be worth it, because if they get one of the top 3 picks and they get Scoot, Wemby, or I can't remember the other kids, that's a highly touted prospect in the top 3, then they're going to be a happy fan base.
Right.
And the way you can tank organically is just by knowing that you put a product, be in the Oakland A's, put a product on the field that is clearly not good enough to win games. And you're not tanking. You just know that you didn't build a team good enough to win. Like
in a way, like the 76ers did when
for a long time.
Ben Simmons, they were like, no, you go ahead and stay up. Like, we got this. We can build this thing up. And of course, it didn't work very well because Ben Simmons sucks.
No, but it still led to them
Yeah.
getting Embiid.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen lots of teams take that step back and let it go. So it'll be interesting seeing how it keeps playing out. We do after the season comes, we'll get into the draft and all that fun stuff. So
so got the question for you. So we're going to be doing a question at the end of every segment.
yeah, because
this
each
week's
sport kind of relates to our question we thought
So
about.
this week is the player you expected to be better. So by that, it doesn't have to be a bust. So you don't have to go, Jamarcus Russell or who's
Ryan Leaf.
Ryan Leaf, or in basketball, you don't have to pick Kwame Brown.
Yeah,
Like, you can just pick someone you thought was going to be like a star, ended up just being like a role player. Like, it can be anything.
And we'll try to put a post out tomorrow after the video is officially up and let y'all drop in some names y'all might think of too. The only struggle I ran into is that basketball is the sport we agreed has the most people that just instantly come to mind.
Because
you can
so
see
many.
the athleticism jumping off the screen, and one of the things you look at is look how athletic these guys are when they flop out and don't end up being as good. So I tried to make a point to pick guys that went on to be, except one, they went on to be quality NBA players that I just thought they'd be better.
I wouldn't say mine is very quality.
I have a whole list of other guys that I wished would have been better, but
but I'll go ahead and start with this. So basically, what I went with was this guy is my third favorite player of all time.
Okay.
Which is funny because he's on this list for me. I thought he was going to be better. My number. Well, actually, no. Let me say that back. He's my fourth. Sorry.
Fourth.
So Kobe Bryant's number one, Penny Hardaway, and then Jason Kidd. Those are my three.
Well, hell,
favorites.
Penny Hardaway could be on this list.
I mean,
if it
he
wasn't
could.
for injuries.
He could.
Injuries was another thing that played in.
I
Brandon
thought-
Roy.
yeah.
I got a laundry list.
I thought
Derrick
about
Rose.
But mine is actually Darius Miles.
Okay.
When he came in, man, and
He was with Cleveland at one point,
yeah,
wasn't he?
yeah.
Okay.
When he came in, man, I thought he was going to be it. All the dunking, I was like, dude, this dude is going to be that guy.
Oh,
And then
man.
he just was not that guy at all, and I was so bummed out. But to this day, like he was still my fourth favorite player of all time in basketball. Like I still love just like going back and watching the highlights of him. Even there was a movie that he was in. I forgot what that was, but yeah, he was in a movie. it wasn't a very good movie either.
Probably one it was okay to have forgotten. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
Technically, there's been a few NBA players in movies. They make lots of fun basketball movies.
It was a goof. No, it was just kind of a little goofy thing. It was
IMDb.
the
there we
perfect score.
go. Okay.
So, yeah, young Chris Evans. Is that Scarlett Johansson? Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna watch it for that.
So a young
Captain
Chris Evans
America's
and young
in it.
ScarJo, and then of course Darius Miles is in it also.
Well,
So-
all right, that's pretty cool. That's the one about the SATs,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes.
Okay, I was gonna say I
Yeah.
know what that movie is. Wait a second, huh? Golly, that's a movie that you probably have said the name when it came out and not thought about ever again.
Hey, I remember Darius Miles was in that, so
Oh.
I was like, I know this movie.
Golly.
But apparently he might have been in National Lampoon's Vacation. Van Wilder.
Okay, well, there you go. He took up acting. Smart guy. Basketball didn't work out. I have a couple. One of them, local flavor, would be Jay Crowder. Technically, one of my other ones is local too. But Jay Crowder came out of college, out of Marquette. I don't know why. I just thought he was going to be a multiple-time All-Star. Maybe not like a Hall of Famer. Like, I felt like Jay Crowder was just going to come in, and he was good, super athletic. He had a nice frame to him, decent shot. Like, I thought he would really do something. He's been a very good player. He's a vital role player to teams, helped win lots of games for teams. JJ Redick was just drafted too early. I feel like his shot at Duke was just lights out. And I don't even like Duke. But I just thought when JJ Redick got drafted, I was like, he's about to go to the league where they don't foul as much, and he's about to go off. And he's still good, but his three-pointers per game dropped in half when he got to the NBA, and the games are actually longer. And so it just, I mean, I don't know if maybe it played into his defense, but goodness, could you imagine if he'd have ended up on, like, a Warriors team? Like, he would have been Klay Thompson. Like, maybe not as defensively sound, but Klay Thompson. And then the other one's Michael Carter Williams. My father-in-law was a Syracuse fan, and so I watched a lot of Syracuse basketball. Kid was a stud as a freshman, gets drafted in the top 10, wins Rookie of the Year, and then just goes downhill faster than a toilet bowl spinning. Like, just never kept it up. And I think he's back in the league now. He's just like one of those 14th guys on the bench that you never see or hear about.
Yeah, with you saying that, it actually reminded me of someone else. I don't know why I didn't think of it, because literally the only basketball jersey I own is a TJ Ford jersey. And him coming into the league, I, as a huge Longhorn fan, like I was ecstatic to see him do something. So I really thought he was going to be better. And when he got into the league, he wasn't bad. I was looking at his points. He averaged 11 for a career, but that was also his rookie year only at 7, and his 5-2 year was 5-3. So he had a 5-year stint where he was 12-14, 12-14, 10.
Yeah,
Which
so
isn't bad,
it's
because he
quality-
was more of
it's
a
quality
passer.
basketball player.
So and his assists didn't translate to the NBA the way that were in college. So that's where it kind of fell off. And I was just like, man, I just thought he was going to be so much better with that teardrop little.
It's fun looking over NBA drafts because they are only 2 rounds and seeing names and going, man, that dude was a stud in college.
Yeah.
Well, it's also funny, like in the 2011 draft, did you know the Marquise and Marcus Morris, the twins, were drafted back to back?
Were they really?
Yes, they were. Marcus has been the better pro. Markieff went first to Phoenix, and then Marcus went second to the Houston Rockets.
Well, that's pretty cool that they went back to back like that.
Markieff went first because Markieff is a half-inch taller. So that was like there's some guys that you can come through on the NBA when I just go, God, injuries really sucked and made that guy's chances die off pretty hard, and so it is crazy how guys can come back from an ACL in the NFL, but they can't ever come back from it like the same in basketball. Derrick Rose has went on to have a quality basketball career, but he was trending to be a top 75 player of all time.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. There was actually a video I watched, or it was a little TikTok thing, and someone was making fun of Jordan, but it was a video of Grant Hill and being able to beat Jordan.
Okay.
And I was like, they're making fun of the fact that Grant Hill's beating Jordan, and I'm like, y'all realize that
Grant Hill's a stud.
Grant Hill before his injury was going to be an absolute stud.
Grant Hill was going to be the next Jordan before he could not keep those legs together.
I was like, what is wrong with y'all? Grant Hill beat Michael Jordan. That's okay.
On the topic of Grant Hill, there's a player that played with. Maybe it's Grant Hill that he played with, right? It would be Christian Laettner.
Yeah,
I thought that he would be really good. Like, I get why people hated him, but I thought not only because of his success in college and his ability to shoot the ball as a big and his ability as a hustle player and all that kind of stuff, I really and truly thought that he would, and he didn't because of his ego. If he'd have set aside his ego on the Dream Team years, that year, and just soaked up the knowledge that he could have got from that team, instead of being just letting them outcast him, like I'd have been a fly on shit with every one of those guys. Just been like, hey, Mr. Magic Johnson, I'm learning. Larry Bird, that is the guy. Like, that is your comp. Go learn.
Yeah,
and so
100%.
There's some guys there that, it's fun. I mean, that alone could run a show topic.
Oh, yeah.
NBA guys that just didn't make it.
So before we move on, there was one more thing in the NBA, and I posted it in the group, and I thought it was pretty interesting because you would think that with current players that LeBron would be elected more as the GOAT than Jordan would with current players, because Jordan's been retired for a long time.
Yeah.
And I mean, LeBron is now the leading point scorer.
Throw shade into this. That's what you're doing here.
Well, no, it wasn't really shade. It was just I thought it was interesting. I mean, because I'm from the older generation. You know, I still believe that Jordan, even though he's not one of my favorite players at all, I still believe he is the GOAT. But I thought it was very interesting to see The Athletic. They took 100 random players and asked them, and what
apparently
was it?
they asked these 100 random players. It was like
58 to 33%.
Yeah, and then there were a few other dabbles in for some other guys.
Like, so I was like, that is a massive. Even though it's 100 players, because they're still.
I still think it comes down to I feel like they overweigh the championships to me. I've said that before.
I would say so.
I think that championships, because NBA teams are less and one player can do a lot of dictating. I still think that the NBA championship is overinflated in value.
100%. I hate when.
And so,
like, even though it is an impressive stat, I think it's one of those that you go, Andy's got this. It's not one that you actually put into the argument. It's one that you put in afterthought.
If you took away the win-loss record and just said player A went to 6 championships and player B went to 11 championships, you're gonna look at it and go, "Holy crap! That guy took his team to 11 championships." Like, that's impressive in its own right. All the extra games and the journeys that you take to get there, that makes that impressive.
Yes, but I'm going to go back to the fact that even though LeBron had some bad teams during Cleveland, like, the East just wasn't powerful back then.
Well, we saw a lot of people running away. Like people have now even admitted that they ran
the East
away
just
from the
wasn't,
East.
Yeah, it wasn't that strong. But when Jordan, this is when a lot of people bring up, they're like, it took Jordan a while to actually get to that point where LeBron got to early. And I was like, well, I mean, the East was ran by Boston, who had 19,
he had to get through Boston.
19 Hall of Famers on the team, and then you had to go through Detroit, who had 5 Hall of Famers on the team. Like, when
Honestly,
you say that
Michael
he couldn't get through them,
Michael played easier competition in his finals.
yes, 100%.
LeBron played harder finals opponents.
Than he
Michael
did
had a harder journey at times getting
that's
there.
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like,
I
the
see what you're
journey
saying
to the finals was much harder for Jordan than it was for LeBron, but Jordan's finals opponents were so much more easier than LeBron had faced, because it's the exact opposite. So when LeBron was running the East, the West was the powerhouse, and when Jordan was running the East was the powerhouse.
Yeah,
like they were winning
and
everything.
A lot of that
and
comes
it didn't
in,
shift
though,
until
because
the Lakers got Shaq and Kobe. It didn't make that shift until then.
And when a lot of that became was that you were still, I mean, you had free agency when Michael and all those guys were playing, but free agency isn't what it was now.
No.
And so guys didn't change teams. People stayed where they were, so those teams built long years of consistent rapport. I mean, if your team sucked then, your team sucked for years.
Yeah. I mean, that's
it
why
was
the Cavs sucked for a long time.
Yeah, it was hard to get out of the cellar. So, but with that, we transition to another little bit of a sporting change. I'm gonna go to baseball. I was gonna go football, but I'm gonna slide baseball here.
I was actually thinking baseball anyway.
We were talking about teams that sucked that are now playing good, and well, as we sit here now, the number 2 team in the American League. You know who the number 2 team in the American League is right now?
I don't.
It'd be the Texas Rangers, without their starting shortstop, taking 2 of 3 from the defending
I didn't
champs.
realize they were second. I thought they were third, so that's why.
Second in the American League right now with a 6. Now, they've beaten the crap out of the Royals, who are awful. So, there's a little bit of a skew to the statting there. But they did take 2 of 3 out of the Astros.
They mollywalked them again today.
In Houston. Yeah, they did. I mean...
And yes, I said mollywalked.
Oh, and they did. It was ugly.
12-3.
Yeah, and... The Royals have some young guys.
15.
They're not good. What?
The Royals are 4-15.
Yeah, they're not.
Okay.
It's floating their numbers a little bit.
Yeah.
But like I said, they are second. The Rays, since we did our last episode, have not only lost 1 but 2 but 3 games.
Yeah.
They lost 2 of 3 to Toronto. Toronto's a darn good team. That entire division, that AL East is going. I mean, the AL East is always good. But it's
really,
going to be a gauntlet.
I was really let down. Like, we're not let down, but I was really sad once the streak stopped. So I was like, oh, just that one more to break the record, to be the only team.
And then the news got worse as they lost their Jeffrey Springs.
Yeah.
He's done, and he was Cy Young pacing. I mean, he was balling through his first 4 starts. I mean, the Rays are always loaded. They're going to be a good team still. Heck, just being the fact that they're already 13 games over 500 helps push that, towards going on. But Toronto is a quality team. The Yankees are going to be good. The Orioles are going to improve from last year's playoff run. The Red Sox look better now. That division is always a gauntlet, and it's not changing anytime soon. That's going to be a fun one to track. Twins and Guardians are still looking good. Rangers are leading their division, though, by 2.5 games. Angels are in second. Angels are actually playing the Yankees today, and Aaron Judge robbed Shohei Ohtani of a home run.
Really?
Uh-huh. Yeah, pretty cool little dynamic there.
Speaking of that team, how about Giancarlo Stanton? I heard
one of the worst contracts in the sports history.
I read today or yesterday, they were talking about how before he came to the Yankees, he was almost a lock to be a Hall of Famer. And then he went to the Yankees, and he has been god-awful.
Well,
because
he hasn't
he's
even
constantly injured.
I was going to say, it's not that he's been god-awful. He still does good things. He still, when he's playing, averages the highest exit velo in baseball. Like, he hits the ball freaking hard. But, like you said, he's the Anthony Davis of baseball.
Yeah.
Like, he's never available. And then most of the time, they're DHing him. Like, it's not like they're making it hard for him. He's the reason Aaron Judge can't transition to being out of the outfield. Like, Aaron Judge at 6'7" and 30 years old has to track around in center field because of that.
Do we now say that Derek Jeter did the right thing
In retiring?
in trading Stanton to the Yankees from the Marlins whenever he took over?
What did he get back, though? Did anything that he got in that deal make it?
That's a good point.
I mean, and the other thing is that, I hate when players change their names. And Giancarlo Stanton is one of those guys. You know what his name used to be, right? Like his original name?
Jose Devers?
Mike.
Oh, really?
His name was
Okay.
Mike Stanton.
Oh.
And he was balling as Mike. And then he changed his name to Giancarlo.
So, Jose Devers ends up, looks like Jose Devers?
I mean, because honestly, if you weren't going to pay him, yeah, it works out. But if you didn't get any good players out of the deal, then no, you still lost. Like, those prospects have to hit. You got Starlone Castro. He didn't really hold up for long.
Rafael Devers.
Oh my God, they got Rafael Devers and they traded him away.
So.
Oh, no, I misread that. Okay. Whew. They got Jose Devers, cousin of Rafael Devers, the third baseman for the Red Sox. I was about to say, wow! That kid was only 18 at the time of the trade. Heck, he might still be in the farm system.
So, yeah, I guess they still lost it.
I still think you lose the trade.
Yeah, they didn't
because
get
you look at what, like we said, Stanton's hurt, but Giancarlo Stanton stats. He was definitely pacing towards Hall of Fame status, though. Like, I see what you're saying there.
And they
but he's
compared
still
him to,
got
like Darryl Strawberry.
He's still
like
got
what
a
he did.
45 career WAR, 382 career home runs. He's only 33. Like, if he can just figure out healthy, heck, he's got an MVP award.
Well, who was it? They were talking. They compared to Ryan Howard. Ryan Howard's got an MVP also.
Yeah, Ryan Howard's one of those guys, but Howard fell off hard.
He did,
and his wasn't injuries. He was like Joey Gallo, where he just stopped making contact.
Yeah.
Which I say that, but Gallo's batting like 280 right now.
But
his average went up.
And they did say they compared it, but they were like, but Stanton is a better player. But you have to look at this and go, like, this is the trajectory right now because of the injuries. Like, there's only been one player that was ever put into the MLB Hall of Fame with under 2,000 hits, and that was in 1975. Yeah. So if you have under 2,000 hits,
and you ain't getting in.
like
He's
it's
not
basically like you're not getting in.
He's only at 1,400 now. Here's his games played though: 2018, 158 games; 2019, 18; 2020, the COVID year, he only played 23 games that season. Of the 60-game season that they did. And then in 21, he played 139. Last year, he played 110. And then this year, he's out another 6 weeks. He was an all-star last year, though. Even with a 211 batting average. How the hell you bat 211? That's Major League Baseball. Yeah. He's still in his time with the Yankees he's been with the Yankees for 6 years, including all the injuries. He still has 115 home runs.
It's good.
As a Yankee, a 255 average.
Like I
240
think they
on
also
base.
said when they're comparing Ryan Howard, he's actually already right there with the home runs. Yeah. So he's easily going to pass him.
If he can just get healthy, like he's easily going to be a 400 home run guy. He's at 382. Oh, yeah. He'll get to 400. If he can get healthy, he can easily get to 1,500 hits and 400 home runs. It will be hard to call him a Hall of Famer. It would call him a Hall of really good. Yeah. And baseball doesn't just let anybody in. Nope. Baseball is not the hardest Hall of Fame in sports is Major League Baseball. There are people that have won not one but 2 MVPs that are not in the Baseball Hall of Fame. So that is one thing that and they don't let anyone get in unanimously. We've seen one person ever get the perfect vote, and that was a freaking closer. Yeah. Like, don't be wrong. He was a stud. But he wasn't better than Babe Ruth, and Babe Ruth couldn't get 100%. On that fact alone, I would have had one person not vote for him. Like, I'm petty like that.
Just to keep it,
there's certain people that...
Keep it sanctimonious.
Yes.
Keep it that way.
Ted Williams, better than him. just naming the people that are all long before my age time, and I can tell you that no way that these guys aren't. But then you have other fun stuff going on with the current season for them. You've got the getting into the National League. Scherzer gets pulled from a game today for an illegal substance, and it's possible he could see a 10-game suspension depending appeal.
Did you hear what he said?
He was pissed.
He said it's just sweat and rosin.
Which is what they say, but that's illegal. And so if that's what it is, apparently they're cracking down pretty hard this year on it. Again, after they had the whole issue, the Padres, who are currently below 500 this year after all that hype, they're getting Tatis back. And the rumor is he's going to play right field. Because obviously he can't play shortstop. They got Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah.
And he's not in a situation to walk in and slang his wing around like he's got the ability to do that because he's screwed up so many times. He just needs to shut up and go play baseball because this team's on the verge of getting rid of him. And they're going to trade him to the freaking Royals just so he never wins. I mean, some teams are doing pretty good. The Pirates are looking pretty good early. The Cardinals are struggling. Thank you, Lord. Anytime the Cardinals are struggling, we pray and say thanks.
If my hairstylist is watching this, sorry about that comment. She's a Cardinals fan.
I worked with a Cardinals fan, and she was coloring a picture during a break, and it was one of those adult stress ones, and she was coloring the arch, and I was like, strike it with lightning and burn it down. Screw that city. I hate St. Louis. Everything about it. Y'all, the whole city can come at me. Give me all the interactions. It'll raise our ratings. Winners and losers. Dodgers are struggling out the gate. You know the Arizona Diamondbacks lead their division right now. And
that's
pretty
crazy.
Well, here's the crazy thing. The stat is, one, they had this Corbin Carroll kid. It's scorching earth as a rookie. But last year, the Diamondbacks were 5 and 30 against the Padres and Dodgers. Like, it was insanely bad against the Padres and Dodgers. Against the rest of the league, they were just under, or right around league average, right at just above 500 for the year. Like, if they didn't suck against the Padres and Dodgers, they were sneakily actually a decent baseball team. This year, they came out and took 2 or 3 from the Dodgers and 2 or 3 from the Padres to start the season. So maybe they're figuring it out.
Yeah.
Rockies still suck, and my baseball player is going to be possibly on that roster.
Oh, well, before we get to that, how about we talk about the Rangers city jerseys?
You know what? Did you like them?
No.
You didn't like them?
No.
I liked the story behind them.
Yes.
I liked the story and how they broke it all down, especially the video that they did. That was really cool. But I can also see how doing a city jersey for a team named after the state is a challenge.
Well, not only that, but you're doing multiple teams. Like, it was for the Metroplex.
Like,
it was, we're doing these teams, like, just you can do that team next year. But
they don't do it. Not every team gets a City Connect every year.
Okay, well, do it.
Like, they only do 4 City Connects each one. Like, when the Cubs did theirs, they got Wrigleyville because that's what it's all called. The worst City Connect jersey is still the Boston Red Sox, though. Have you seen that one? It's yellow.
Oh,
it's awful. Look it up. You're gonna hate. You want to stab your eyes. Like, it's one of the worst jerseys I've ever seen. Is the Boston Red? It is yellow with blue letters on it. I mean, it has nothing to do with the city of Boston. I don't feel like at all. Like, I mean, honestly, the Red Sox City Connect jersey would have been cooler if they had just put David Ortiz saying "This is our fucking city" on it from when the bombing happened. Like, they're terrible.
Yeah,
those are awful. And so, like, nothing, like, they could have gone green and done some Irish bit for Boston and, like, anything like that. Like, it's just terrible.
Well, so the one thing that I will say about the Rangers jersey is that when I saw the picture of Adolis Garcia wearing it, I was like, that's a cool jersey.
Adolis makes a lot of things look cool. That dude is jacked.
Yeah, I was like, that's a cool jersey right there. But then I was like, just looking at the jersey, and I was just, I don't like the TX. Like, it just looks too much like an R. It reminds me of Detroit. Like, I'm just looking at it. I'm just looking at it going, like, because when I first saw it, so when I first saw the Texas Rangers update their website, or their Facebook page, I was like, what is this? Like, I don't know about this. Like, what is that? And I'm trying to look at it going, oh, it's a TX. Oh, okay. Because at first, because I'm looking at it going, I don't understand what this is doing, and I'm like, no.
I liked the videos and the whole reveal that they did for it. I do see how it can be an acquired thing, but yeah, fun fact, I don't like the Rangers baby blues. I think they're
beautiful.
freaking god awful.
I love them.
And so I like these way more.
And I don't know what it is, man. It's just something about these just don't. They're just. I don't know.
I don't know. I
guess
see
'cause
either
they're
side of
different.
them. I like them.
Like with the Red Sox with the yellow. Like
The
it
yellow
doesn't make
just-
any sense.
But I want to go
unless
find
it's
like
something
the
historical.
story behind the yellows because they're just so
Red Sox
ugly.
released Patriots Day inspired City Connect uniforms.
Okay, well that would help and make me feel bad about, crapping on them because it's Patriots Day and everything that's happened in
1933
Boston.
Red Sox and Sting
So.
blah, blah, blah,
But with that, we it'll be fun. While he's reading into this a little more, I will say I will go into my baseball players that I really thought were going to be better, and I'm 100% going to stay pretty modern basically modern as both my guys are still playing right now. The first one is I'm going with El Mago, Javier Baez. I just wish he could get a batting average worth a darn because the dude is a wizard with a glove. He's so much fun to watch play. And I really thought when he went to the New York Mets last year, or I guess 2 years ago when they traded him, I thought, man, I watched him play in the World Series, and when he's at the shiningest, brightest lights, he's going to just ball, and he did not. The other one is I'm really disappointed with how bad Chris Bryant is. It took him almost 2 seasons to hit his first home run in Colorado. In Colorado. Anybody can hit a damn home run in Colorado.
That's a very hitter-friendly park.
Yes, the altitude and everything. He's still batting over 300. But, we watched that guy break in, win Rookie of the Year, win MVP, win a World Series, and then all of a sudden he just went...
Yeah.
he's a good baseball player, but, he was, Trout and Harper, and he was getting to be that guy. Hall of Fame projections were coming.
I have a patch rookie card of his that I've been holding on to because I was hoping it would
turn him around.
It's
when he signed with the Rockies, I was like, you know what? The Giants were a decent situation. Things slowed off for the Cubs, but you know what? He's got the MVP. He's got a Rookie of the Year. He's got a World Series. Go to Colorado and inflate your stats. I was ready for him to go to Colorado and start hitting 40 bombs a season for the next 10 years, bat 300 because he's that kind of hitter. He will bat 300. He's batting 315 right now. But he's all the power's gone. And he swings straight up. He has a arching rainbow underneath the ball, launch angle, perfect launch angle swing. That's what he does. And he just can't get it together. So, I'd like to see him do it because I like the guy. He's not even a third baseman anymore, which is a position he won a World Series at. He's exclusively an outfielder, I think, now. But those would be my 2 guys in baseball.
All right. Well, mine is going to be a little bit different. It's going to involve my local Rangers. Jurickson Profar.
Number 1 prospect in all of baseball at one point. But you know what? That was a terrible ranking.
The reason why I want to pick him is
he's a Rocky now too.
What? I thought he's a Padre.
He's a Rocky now.
Oh, he is a Rocky.
He's
Okay.
a Colorado Rocky now, actually. With Chris Bryant.
That's funny. I didn't even notice that. I saw he was at the Padres. I didn't see down at the bottom it was new. But yeah, there was at one point we could have gotten a load for him.
Oh,
and
his
then,
value.
And then we held on to it, and he just.
The Rangers did that with 2 players. Him and Joey Gallo both are guys that if the Rangers would have used as pieces of a trade, rather than other pieces that they used as trade pieces, would have been better.
Yep.
I say that, but like I said earlier, Joey Gallo's off to a pretty good start this season. We knew the shift going away would help him.
It's just. I guess it breaks my heart knowing how highly valued he was supposed to be.
Oh, yeah.
And he was going to come in, he was going to be the new guy, and then he just was never that guy. And then we just never got anything for him, even though we could have gotten a ransom at one point. Kind of the way, the Rangers did with Mark Teixeira when we got...
That's what got them to the World Series.
Yeah, that's what got us to the World Series with Mark Teixeira.
Absolutely.
We got Ian Kinsler...
No, you got Jared Saltamakia,
Salty,
Elvis Andrews, Neftali Feliz.
There you go.
All come in on the Mark Teixeira trade.
Like that was one of the greatest trades.
Yeah, because you already had
because that loaded us to go to the World Series with just that one trade.
That trade was 14 years ago now. And what's funny is the centerpiece of the deal was supposed to be Saltamakia, and he was never a great Ranger. Like, we've talked on the show that...
He's a good dude.
Last week when we talked about how Elvis is at 2,000 career hits, he was at one point pacing to become, like, your face of Texas Ranger baseball. Like, he was on pace to become your all-time franchise hit leader. The downfall of Neftali Feliz was heartbreaking, though, because when he first came in, he was a blast. Yep. And then watching him come in that second year, killing it... And then when he got hit in the World Series on back-to-back days, like, I don't think I'd ever watched a man's spirit die on national television any harder than watching Neftali. I'm putting him on this list now. Thank you for reminding me how much I used to think he was going to be a
probably saw someone's spirit die a little bit more on national television.
Oh, Rick Hankiel was pretty high up there.
Well, no, I was actually talking about the guy that died on national television.
Oh,
that we'll be talking about in a minute.
This is true. Yeah. Which that was, you know what? I'm going to take that as a smooth transition. As we've touched on baseball and go, the guy that we watched on national television, he's back. He needs to do it. Michael Jordan, I'm back.
That would be good.
DeMar Hamlin is cleared for all activities and is practicing today at voluntary workouts with the Buffalo Bills.
Absolutely. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Nothing else matters in the show. That he's okay is great. There were a lot of factors that kind of screwed with the season that came from it, but at the end of the day, the fact that young man is up and walking and everything else is just magical.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that he's going to play football again.
And, he may not play this year.
Is that what they've said?
Well, no. He's probably got a shot at playing this year, but I don't.
He's got the full green light, they say.
Yeah.
So
I'd be scared to though. You know what
I'm
saying?
I would be skittish to play if I'm him, 100%. If I'm the Bills coaching staff,
I would want to be.
I think you have to hit him
practicing only.
Yeah.
Like that's what I would want to do.
The Bills need him.
they do. Yeah.
They need him. Like he was a very good football player for them last season. Like he wasn't like the star, but you realize in the playoffs that he was a contributor to that team in the back end of the defense. So
big time.
He is someone that getting him back, getting him healthy, I would say that finding ways to see how skittish he might be without, crossing a line kind of needs to be a priority of a defensive backs coach probably.
Yeah. Finding
ways. It sounds terrible, but you kind of have to hit him, and see where he's at mentally. That's the game. I hate saying it that way, but that's what you have to do. It sounds terrible, but
you have to get physical with him because you need to see where he's at mentally. Yeah. Because you can be there physically, but you need to see where he's at mentally, and that's why I'm saying I don't know if he would actually play this year because I think that you're going to have to get him built up mentally before he actually 100%. I think they'll let him go out there, but I'm not sure that they'll let him actually play.
Yeah,
I think he'll get to go out there on something.
On the plus side of it is that he's been cleared so early on.
Yeah,
pre-draft and everything.
Yeah, that's big.
He's doing workouts. If the team's getting to work with him now, they are gonna get more time to see. If we don't see the Bills draft a safety, I think it tells you they think he's playing.
Well, the one thing that I will say about that is the safety class is not very good.
No, also true.
There's only one safety, Brian Branch, and he's more than likely going to be playing nickel, so he won't even be playing safety.
Okay, so it'll be interesting.
Everyone else is late second to third round. It's not a good class for that.
Yeah. So speaking of guys that might sit on a bench, who have sat on the bench. Jalen Hurts goes from benched at the halftime of this national championship to winning the Heisman to the highest paid player in the history of the NFL.
Until someone else gets paid.
Until Joe Burrow gets paid. Because Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert will get paid and they will pass it.
And then they'll pass it.
If I'm Joe Burrow, if you're going to play it for the money, you wait till Herbert signs because you've done more.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You say no.
Definitely.
You don't sign the next deal and let Herbert use yours as his spring because if you ask me, Herbert gets less than Hurts.
He should.
He hasn't done as much on the field. Like
he really
results wise. He's good.
He's good. It's just
Dolphins could have had
the result wise.
The tangle between Hurts, Herbert, and Tua will hurt my heart for the remainder of my fandom.
It does hurt. Especially knowing
I could have had both of those
what
guys.
What Hurts is doing, how good Herbert actually is, and the fact that Tua thought about retiring after all those concussions last year.
And what's crazy is that I heard two different analysts today while I was doing my show prep and stuff. Two different guys, one on NFL Network, I can't remember his name, and one I want to say that was on ESPN, that both said that if Tua can stay healthy all season, that's the question mark holding the Dolphins back. That the Miami Dolphin roster right now is set to win a Super Bowl as long as Tua's healthy.
Oh, yes.
Like,
they're loaded.
Now I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, well, shit, we have everything in place to finally see it happen, and one hit ends it all. Because Mike White's not winning a Super Bowl.
Once you brought in Jalen Ramsey, that changed everything.
Oh, yeah, especially if Xavier Howard gets healthy. Because if Xavier Howard is healthy, we know he's one of the 10 best corners in football. And now you put him with Jalen.
And then not only that, but, okay, Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, you also have Cedric Wilson, and then you bring in Chosen.
Yeah, Chosen Anderson, Braxton Berrios.
And Braxton Berrios.
And that's not even counting that they love Eric, Cedric Wilson is an afterthought on the Dolphins.
Oh, yeah, he's more special teams.
From all the stuff I followed, Eric Amadou out of Texas Tech last year, he's like our fifth guy. They love him. He's been killing on practice squad stuff. Like, he's going to be a hang-around guy. The only thing we don't have is a decent running back. Like, we have a bunch of bodies at this point, guys that are past their prime.
Well, I mean, from what I've heard, the Vikings are planning to cut Dalvin Cook. And if they do,
if the Dolphins,
I heard that the Dolphins are the team that wants to.
If they're going to cut Dalvin Cook, just straight up cut him, I'm sending them a fifth. It's better than getting nothing. I'm saying, here's my 5th round pick. Give me Dalvin Cook
for $17 million contract.
I don't give a damn. I'm playing.
You can't afford it.
Well, you've already said it. The salary cap is
real. It's not. It's the salary cap is not real. It's flexible.
I'm going to save some of it by
there's
trading
only
Wilson
so much flexing that you can do to work yourself under, be able to sign. Well, you don't really have draft picks like the first one's in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Or second round.
I'm doing a live broadcast of a draft and my team doesn't even pick.
But I mean, it is possible. But you really do have to think about the fact that he has that big of a contract. I mean, that's why no one is trading for him.
Yeah.
It's because they can't take that on for a running back.
Yeah, but if they cut him, I mean, what is he going to sign for? He's not taking league minimum. He'll probably get
what I think he'll probably get. No, not even 10. Unless it's like a 2-year deal.
He's still better than David Montgomery, and maybe Montgomery just got, 18 over 3 years? So
$6 million a year. And
so
he's actually got a dead year on his contract, so they can push it so where it's not $6 million a year. Like first year is 2, then 7, then 6, and then there's actually $1 million on the dead year right now.
Oh, okay.
So they've actually got it structured to where it's technically there's 4 years on it, and they can even it out a little bit so that because this first year, so they can play with it, so they can draft someone like Bijan and not have to worry about it. Next year they can just cut him. And
shit, I hope they don't do that. I ended up getting David Montgomery in a dynasty. So I don't even like the guy that much.
To me, I mean, Dalvin, he's good, but he's got this injury history. So I think you're going to look around the $6 to $8 million range for a year, and that's at best. And that's just because of the injury history.
Okay, good. I had a weird thought that for some reason the camera wasn't recording, and it would made for a terrible showtime if we posted a video with nothing on it. So I just wanted to confirm that.
Yeah, so that's the only thing that I do feel about that.
I mean, that makes sense then.
Because he's already going to get whatever out of that $17 million deal. Like, he's going to get money off of
You
it.
cut Cooks. If you're
So-
the Vikings at that point, do you turn around and go, I'm out? Cooks is like he's a large chunk of that offense. I don't know that
Well, Madison has done very well in his absence.
he has.
He hasn't done as good.
He just isn't as good.
Yeah, but
But-
he's done well.
Minnesota says, all right, Cook, you're out, and they draft Bijan Robinson. Woo! Boy, Bijan and Jefferson in the same offense.
Yeah. That'd be
Man,
nice. They
cars
need to
go
receive that.
fast.
All right, so back to Hurts. You know, it is great to see him get that
His
deal
story is
because he
awesome.
deserved it. You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, he really deserves
Absolutely, he's
it.
deserved what he's done.
Cheyenne Murdoch, if you're watching this, I don't think you have been watching, even though I've told you that we've been talking about you.
Multiple times.
You know, he didn't think that Hurts deserved it because he doesn't think he's done enough yet. And my thing is that the Eagles have seen enough. Now, he's been in the league 3 years, but his first year as a starter, he did good.
Yeah.
This year, he stepped it up even more. You gave him talent, but if you give him talent and they produce well, like, you have to reward him for it.
Exactly.
Especially since next year,
And he
you're
doesn't-
either going to pay him this now, or you're going to wait next year because you didn't think he should have gotten it this year. You're going to have to pay him even more.
And then when
like the
you
Cowboys did with Dak.
Exactly. When you wait to pay him, the next guy gets paid, and then the market's set anyway. So
Yeah.
you might as well set the new market, because the thing is a lot of people were waiting to see what the new market's going to be, because Deshaun Watson's not the market.
Right, yeah.
And that's what's holding up the Lamar deal, is he wants
And
the Deshaun Watson
This right
deal.
here, to me,
Shows that was an anomaly,
Yeah.
and this stays with the track of
Yeah.
what the market will be.
this and more than likely that Lamar is probably going to wait until Herbert and Burrow get theirs and see what the guaranteed is, because Hurts got $179 million guaranteed, and I mean that's still pretty far off from what $230 million that Deshaun Watson got,
Yeah.
which was fully guaranteed.
And that
So-
was just a bad contract. I don't
Yeah.
care if
And from what
Deshaun
I've
can
heard-
come back and play like Texans Deshaun Watson, and that's still a bad structural contract, because it broke what everyone else gets.
Yeah.
It did. It messed up. It falls out of line with how the league does things. Now in the NFL, I think they all should be getting guaranteed contracts anyway. That's besides the point.
Yeah, I
They
think
should-
that too.
They play the most dangerous physical sport. They should increase the salary cap and pay them all guaranteed money, and just go average year annual salary, not this front load and back load and all that mess. If we just gave everyone, this is the mark, this is what we're paying, this is it, bam, and that way the next guy gets paid more, fine. The next guy can get $2 million more. The next guy can get $2 million more. That makes sense to me. That would be fine,
Yeah.
because of how physical the toll is on the position in
Yeah.
the sport. But we're not going to see that.
Yeah, and
And
eventually Lamar is going to get his contract from more than likely the Ravens. Like, I don't see them trying to go anywhere else, especially once they brought in OBJ. Like, that
Yeah,
was
you at
that
least
was their
got
way of
him.
going, hey, look, we're trying to
trying.
help you out, dude. Like, even if he's
what pick did the
coming
Ravens
off
have
of
again? They picked,
24,
so it's too late to get. They're not getting Jackson.
they get 22.
They need Jackson.
And
need,
Jigba? No.
yeah, they need receivers,
Well,
but he'll be gone.
All right, so I'll say this. Right now, we don't know a lot about this class. Everything that I've heard is people really don't like this receiver class that much.
Yeah.
Even though JSN is good, he's probably the best in his class. If you look at previous classes, they're like, he probably would have been like 4th or 5th in someone else, in other ones. Like, he's good, but he's this class good. He's not good.
Well,
And he's a great route runner. He's great. He's smart. He comes back to the ball. He knows when my quarterback's in trouble, go back to the ball. I can get it.
he doesn't
I can
bring
get
the
the
explosive athleticism that
Yeah.
some of the other guys brings, but I know the kid's got crazy hands. I watched that catch when he was playing against Allen at Cowboy Stadium, and he can make all the NFL catches with one hand, two hands.
Oh, I believe so.
So.
But yeah, he's
As long as he can maintain the ability to get separation, he can easily be a 75 to 100 catch guy.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be kind of like Michael Thomas, like the slant king. Like, he's like he's going to be more than that. But I'm just saying, like he'll be that type to running the slot and doing that slant king. But hey, this is something I heard. So watching a video with Steve Smith, Carolina Panthers legend, and Ravens legend,
And Ravens. Still,
he actually brought up the fact that that's what I was showing. Talking about Dalvin Cook, not sure healed is appropriate terminology.
Well, we've always done that.
So
Shoulder issues.
he actually did a video talking about JSN, and JSN brought up the fact, he goes, I'm not a slot only. Like, quit calling me that. Like, that's not what I am. I can run it. I can run it the best. That's not what I am. I'm not just slot only. I was like, that's true. Like, he's kind of got, he's not an X. Like, he's slot and he's a Z. Like, he's a guy that you play off the line or in the slot.
Yeah.
And, like, he's got that about him. So, I do see that, but the clash, it's really not that strong. So, JSN could end up falling to the Ravens. Like, a lot of the teams may just go, we can get a guy that's almost just like him in round 2. And that's what a lot of this is going to look like when you see these guys falling. You're like, but he's good. But it's because they're so close in the rankings that they're like, we don't have to pay this guy this in the first round. We can get someone that's very similar in the second.
Yeah, which we will have live and shared in our group. We're getting all that arranged, but we will be live that night of the first round of the draft to talk it up, answer questions on the live feed, and all that fun stuff.
And
it's the most engaging event we do.
If you're a Horned Frogs fan, I'm going to tell you right now, Quentin Johnston, there's a good chance he's not going to go in the first round.
I saw him rumored to the Chiefs today, too.
It's very possible.
I saw Max Dugan in a draft comp that I saw today, where the team that would get him in a late round pick, and it's going to drive me nuts that I can't remember it. I might post it on Facebook later.
Well, I know the Cowboys like him.
It was one that I saw that it was like, I really liked the comp because it fit well with the style of play. I'm going to figure it out.
Taysom Hill?
No, it was like a team that actually picked a guy like that. But, let's see. But with that, we also have, there's a trade.
Yeah, Allen Robinson to the Steelers. Man, to me, that Steelers team has, it's really weird because the Steelers really don't make a lot of moves in preseason like this. And the fact that they have been so active, they brought in Isaac Semola from the Eagles, Cole Holcomb from Washington, Elandon Roberts from your Dolphins. They brought in an old Patrick Peterson. And then they brought in a bunch of other guys that are going to be role players. And then they trade for Allen Robinson. So now you have Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, who showed a lot of promise last year.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of promise.
Solid.
And then throwing Allen Robinson into the mix. Like, if Kenny Pickett fails, Kenny Pickett is the problem. Because now you have weapons. The problem is they still have a terrible offensive line.
Absolutely.
Now, bringing in Semola is great. Your interior is really good, but your tackles are god-awful.
Yes.
So that will be kind of the one thing that is going to drive this, but I think they're doing a really good job this year. And Allen Robinson, like, the fact that he's going to basically be a receiver 3 for them I think is great. Like, that's amazing to have him as your third best receiver. Unless, Deontay Johnson keeps dropping stuff, then he's your second best receiver.
This is true. Deontay Johnson does have a ridiculously bad drops this year. And the fact that he can't find the end zone.
Yeah.
Makes a fantasy owner nightmare.
I've got a really good friend that is a Steelers fan. And they, other than, the fact that they're doing all this stuff, they are mad that Matt Canada is still the offensive coordinator. Because he is terrible.
Yeah, he wasn't creative in the terrible. The fact that team goes, the coaching, if you don't think coaching is important, look at the Steelers, because them being over 500 like they are with a team, last year's team was just not good.
No.
And they still went 9-8 and almost made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Props to him. He's
Tomlin is a great.
Mike Tomlin is a Hall of Fame football coach. And the Steelers just keep hitting coaching out of the park. Like, it seems like they never miss on who they want to be their next coach. I mean, that's why they keep them for 17 years and only had like 8 coaches in the history of the franchise.
Literally, I can only name 2.
My life's only had 2. It's been him and Bill Cowher.
Him and Cowher, yeah.
I don't think they've ever had another coach in my entire life.
They haven't. That's...
Yeah.
Cowher took over like when we were basically kids.
So no, 1000%. It's insane. The other stuff, fun, just a little fun nugget. It stays in the same division. Myles Garrett got hurt this year at the Pro Bowl, and he decided to let the world know that even if we vote for him, he is retired from the Pro Bowl.
I mean,
He's gonna fake an injury. He's not doing the Pro Bowl games.
The Pro Bowl was a joke anyway.
The flag football stuff and all that, we talked about the games, had some improvements and things that we did enjoy. Myles Garrett has no spinning or moving of the needle on the flag football. He's not a corner. He's not a receiver. He's not a quarterback. So all him being at the Pro Bowl really was a dodgeball contest in his name. Like it doesn't hurt me.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
I want to see the flag football thing keep growing though. So seeing the quarterbacks, receivers, and their DBs getting in is entertaining for me.
I mean, I guess.
Except Matt Milano, screw that guy, because I watched you tank that shit on purpose.
To me, just because it's meaningless anyway, like, just vote for them, and that's it. Like, I don't care about it enough to even care anymore, because
most of the players that go say they enjoy doing it though.
Well,
they take their families and they enjoy.
Yeah, but it's no longer like this cool thing, because it used to be held in Hawaii where you always take your family and go, because it's like a vacation.
True.
Now you're just going to random spots in the NFL that you already go to during the season.
It needs to go back to Hawaii. I think that was the best way to engage Hawaii. Like that was your way of allowing Hawaii to be a part of the NFL.
Exactly.
Like, I think that
you took that away, and then you also took away a great vacation destination. So people were like,
Lakers have cut it to 6 with 3 minutes to go.
Like, you made it to where it was this vacation destination, and it felt good to be a Pro Bowler. Now it's, hey, we're going to Indianapolis this year. And you're like...
They were in Vegas last year, which looks cool.
Yeah, I mean, with the Vegas, they were in Miami. Like, they've been to some destinations, but
anytime you go
play
to
in those destinations. So it's not like you're going there, and you're going there in the wintertime.
God, Anthony Davis.
So it's not like you're going there to this great place during this great time of year.
Sure, that makes sense.
So, like, why not have it in the best place possible?
Just go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
100%. Take the Pro Bowl back to Hawaii. Start that movement now. Well, with that, let's get into our players. I've got 2. I'm gonna let you want to go first this one?
Yeah, I mean,
and then we've got some miscellaneous athletes we thought of and a hockey topic to bring up.
The one that I thought of is, so whenever I was playing sports football games when I was young, the one person that I always wanted on my team, during like a 1 year, a little 2 year stretch thing was Akili Smith, the quarterback from the Bengals.
Okay.
I guess I thought he was going to be something special. I really thought he was going to be something special. And he just was not. And I was so let down because I was like, this guy is going to be great.
Yeah.
And then you watched him and you're like, oh no. Oh, no. He was not Jamarcus Russell bad, but the dude was not anywhere close to what I thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
And like, you can technically put this in a bust category because, like, I mean, he wasn't a number one
mine's
pick.
100% a bust.
But he was like the 8th or 9th pick or something like that.
Early first round pick.
I truly don't even actually know. That's something I probably should have looked up while explaining this. 3rd overall. So yeah, 100% bust.
Pick.
Yeah,
100% bust. Yeah. Mine go to, and I can literally say, like, look, this is the Longhorn fan.
His first name was Kabisa.
I've never said that.
Kabisa Akili Maradufu Smith.
Wow.
He's Swahili.
Oh, okay. My first one, I had 2. The first one that comes to mind for me was, and like I said, I'm not the Longhorn fan. This is the Longhorn fan. And Vince Young, just watching the Rose Bowl, and I'm simplifying the Rose Bowl by saying Vince Young because I think Leinart falls in this category.
Oh, yeah.
I think Reggie Bush falls in this category.
Yeah.
Reggie Bush was still a very good NFL player. Reggie Bush looked like the next Barry Sanders at USC. Like,
he did.
He did.
He did.
Vince Young played one of the greatest college career seasons we've ever seen, getting to that national title, and then played arguably most people call the greatest game of football, collegiate football we've ever seen. And then I really just he got exposed by not learning the football side of things enough. It feels like from going back and looking, Texas let Vince Young just be so athletic that he didn't really get pushed to learn football good enough. And when he got to the NFL, I feel like that's what downfalled him.
That and he just never knew losing.
Also true. He did.
And once he started losing, I don't think he had the mentality to
break it.
Because he never
it's a
lost.
struggle to win, become a winner.
If all you knew was winning, and then you finally got to the largest stage that there is, and you couldn't win,
yeah,
like mentally that has to just break.
And they did not win. The Titans did not win. I see you pulled Reggie Bush's numbers.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, he was a good football player. Like the Saints, he had some great years with the Saints. Wasn't he on the Super Bowl team?
Mm-hmm.
He won a Super Bowl with the Saints. Like, he played decent for the Dolphins. I got a Reggie Bush Dolphins jersey.
He was a rookie of the year, too.
I got a Reggie Bush Dolphins jersey. Like, the dude.
He had 88 receptions his rookie year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he didn't run the ball. He was a pass-catching machine.
Yeah.
And... no, he's another guy, but the other one that jumps off, and this is a guy that when I talked to him about it pre-show, he kind of snickered at me because he is a very good football player. He's a fringe Hall of Famer. Ndamukong Suh never became the player I thought he would be. Like, he's the draft guy. When I watch a football game, I see guys that I think are good. I'm like, oh, okay, I draw to him. Watching Nebraska, which I never watched play, and Ndamukong Suh he drew your face to him when Nebraska was playing. Like, you're just like, holy crap, that guy is an animal. And
ask Colt McCoy about him.
Yeah. And he's a little dirty, don't get me wrong. But you know what? Good teams have that guy. Draymond Green's that guy for the Warriors. Like, there's a little dirty on a team that helps you win. And I honestly thought coming out, Ndamukong Suh was going to be what we got in Aaron Donald. Like, I didn't even know who the heck Aaron Donald was coming out of Pitt until he got to the NFL and became the best defensive tackle arguably we've ever seen. I really thought that's what Ndamukong Suh was going to be. So, as good as he has been, I just thought he would be better.
Well, as
Jadeveon Clowney's another one. He just
as a fifth-year senior, like, he had 12 sacks as a fifth-year senior.
Yeah.
That was Sue.
Yeah.
So before that, he had a total of 12 sacks in 3 years.
Yeah. I don't know. His senior year.
He
was still really good.
He was really good. Like, he also had 20 and a half tackles for a loss, which is incredible.
Oh, yeah. Pursuit, that means. He's staying with it.
So I mean, I'll give you the fact that, like, I don't know, it's tough to say. It's tough to say just because, like, he is basically like a fringe Hall of Famer. So, because he did have a pretty good career. I mean, defensive tackles, they're a little bit tougher to get in. So, I would maybe take the fringe off and say that he may not get in.
Yeah.
Because it's very difficult for defensive tackles.
Oh, for sure. Without having the sack numbers or something to back it up, it's hard to get in. He's not 100 sacks.
I'll say that, but I do feel like he did really, really, really well. Like, some of the numbers may have not been on the paper.
Yes, because
he was so good at
stopping the run and slowing the run down.
Yeah.
That's a stat
I think
he
affected the game more than what the stats show.
Absolutely, and I can see that.
So that's the only reason why I felt like it was probably not the best, just because, like, I feel like he did kind of reach where he should have been.
And I can see that too. Maybe I don't know.
You were just hoping for more of Warren Sapp with his sacks and stuff.
I think so.
A little bit.
Yeah. So with that, I roll into.
But he's played more of the, like, nose tackle role.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's why some of it didn't project to the NFL the way that, like, Warren Sapp or Aaron Donald, who play that 3 technique, really kind of take advantage of stuff.
Well, that makes sense. Then sliding in, we'll get on to the NHL. And we're not going to act like we're hockey experts. We never have. Dallas Stars came in the higher seed and lose round one
In a
thrilling overtime.
no! Oh, you missed it!
What'd I do?
In a wild
They
double
did lose in
overtime.
a wild double overtime. In case you don't know.
I even wrote it down.
In case you don't know, they're playing the
Wild
out of, where are they wild at? I don't even know where the hell they're
out
at.
of where they used to be from, the
The
Minnesota
Minnesota
Wild.
That's
Oh,
right.
man.
And you know the other funny part is, you know who works on the staff for the Minnesota Wild?
Hey.
Mike Modano
Really?
works as a consultant for the Minnesota Wild, an original Minnesota North Star that moved to the Dallas Stars.
Wow.
With that said, my bust hockey player, I'm just going to get it in there right now. My bust hockey players, they're both from Minnesota.
Really?
Yeah, and they played for the Ducks.
Man, who is that?
Charlie Conway.
Oh, you know
Dude,
what?
so overrated. Great leader,
yeah.
but I mean, you know you're bad when your team tells you to become a coach mid-game.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
just hand it over.
definitely.
And
Definitely.
then best ability is availability. And Banks, that guy was never available. Always hurt.
Always.
Had all the skill in the world. He was the Anthony Davis of hockey.
Man,
And
you
he
got
just
a point there.
He just couldn't stay on the ice.
You have that's a strong point. That is a strong point. I don't think I can come up with two better people than that right there. Like,
Yeah,
that's
hockey-wise, those are just the names. So if you have any other names, please. I can't hold a straight face any longer.
It was
Please
difficult.
tag them. Put the names for hockey players. I'll research them, and I'll be happy that you found them. But other than that, only other hockey-related thing is the Kraken are only in their second year as a team, and they won their first game of the playoffs as the lower seed.
I do have that the Stars Pavleski is in concussion protocol right now.
Yes,
So-
Kozlowski is in concussion protocol.
And they are playing tonight, aren't they?
Let me
Or
see. I have it
tomorrow.
right here. The Stars play April 19th. Yeah, the Stars
Yeah,
play
tonight.
tonight
Okay,
at
that's what I thought.
8:30 p.m.
Duh,
Texas
I got
time.
it right there tonight, 8:30.
Oh,
I had it
yeah.
written down.
Yeah, they play 8:30 tonight on ESPN2 because
Deuce.
that's where they're at. As long as Jason Roberts doesn't get hurt, I understand that he's really good and they need him to be winning. Like, that's all I got for you.
So the only other news that I have is, I don't know if you saw this, but did you hear about the Winnipeg Jets forward?
Is this
Morgan?
Winnipeg's in Canada, right?
Yes,
So I
yeah.
check out on Canada.
Okay, well, the dude got hit in the head with the skate, had 75 stitches,
Oh,
and came back
I
into
did
the
hear-
game.
Oh my god, I didn't know that
Yeah.
part. I just knew he
Yeah.
got 75 stitches. Alright, I lied. Canada, you're amazing. You know what? Last I looked, like, when we think of hockey, we think of Canada. Like Minnesota, Canada, which
Those
basically
northern-
Minnesota
northern
is
areas,
Canada.
yeah.
Like, did you know that, I think it's been like since like the late 90s, early 80s since the last time the Canadian team won the Stanley Cup?
Well, I mean, you also have like Russia and everything else.
Yeah, but the Stanley Cup is only in America and Canada. They've got like the Toronto Raptors won an NBA title before 6 teams in Canada could get a Stanley Cup. Like, what the hell?
That's a
Canada,
good point.
you're failing. Like, this is your
That's a good
sport.
point.
Like, you skate ice. Isn't that what it's like up there all year? Like, do y'all get pretty sunny days, or is it just icebergs and you can't win the Stanley Cup?
It's not Alaska.
They've won gold medals in the Olympics and they can't win the damn.
That's because all their good players are on other teams.
This is true. They keep it spread out. So with that said, I have one more honorable mention bust that has nothing to do with it, and I think that'll be our wrap up.
Well, I mean, technically it does.
it does have
in
to
a
do
way.
with it, but
It's like the grass version of hockey.
yeah, and it's got some but soccer.
Yeah.
We both had a drop that America threw out this kid at 14 years old by the name of Freddie
Freddie
Adu.
Adu.
He's less of a bust than Charlie Conway, in my opinion. But Freddie Adu at 14 years
Well,
old
I don't
just
know.
never became the guy.
Like, I mean, he was front and center on Sports Illustrated at 14 years old.
Oh, absolutely.
So, like,
And by 23, he'd already been on 9 different teams.
yeah.
Like, he was on his 4th MLS team. and, like,
we
nobody
thought
comes
he
to
was
the
going
MLS.
To be the greatest thing to
Oh.
ever grace
He
a
was going to
field.
be the reason the
Pitch.
U.S. won the World Cup. Like, he was that guy. He's not. And when
He
we get
was
more
not.
soccer related stuff, we will talk as big events come because I do pay attention to Team USA soccer. I don't think he ever even made the team. So,
The last thing that I do have is boxing.
okay.
So, Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia are going to be fighting this Saturday.
Pretty sure those are big names.
Very big
World
names.
of punching. Okay.
I've been a Garcia fan for quite a while. Like the very first video I saw on him, like 3-4 years ago, heck, it might be even longer, of him doing his punching stuff and his
Okay.
speed bag and stuff on Instagram. Like I was blown away by his speed, and
Okay.
so that's going to be a big match. There was one thing, like if you're going for Gervonta, I'm just going to go ahead and say you're kind of a piece of shit.
Oh.
Because after looking him up, because I didn't know a lot about Gervonta. This dude has been arrested multiple times for assault and battery and domestic violence.
So he could be-
now his last one
he
was
could-
dismissed because the girl that he hit took it back.
He could replace Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors is no longer going to be
Well,
in
no,
the Ant-Man. Oh no, they've already announced their
no,
replacement.
they haven't.
Well, they
No,
have said
he
that
lost his
line-
agent,
Yeah, they've lost
but
his
they
agent.
haven't announced
The
anything.
text message that came out says they're moving on.
I
The
need to
text
see
message
that.
picture. He had a
I haven't
text
seen
message
that.
picture that came out that was a text thread between him and someone else. And the first text message says, "Did you really hit her?" And then his response, like from with the iPhone coloring on it, says, "She shouldn't have been digging through my phone."
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
enough about
It's
that.
not been confirmed,
I haven't
but
seen
it
it. I haven't
sounds
seen
like
it come up on Twitter, so I don't know.
I've
about
heard that it's not looking good for him and
that. I would
how they're
assume
going to
that
have
he's
to
going
go.
to be out
I mean,
because
considering how quick Disney
because
is to
it's
not
Disney,
let
yeah.
things happen, I'd assume they're going to replace him.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it got pretty ugly pretty quick for him.
yeah, but yeah,
Which is crazy because his
Davis-
career blew up overnight.
dude, it did. And then it
Between
just
Ant-Man and Creed and he did that war movie. I mean, overnight he was in like 5 movies and we're like, he's going to be the guy.
yeah.
So,
But yeah, Gervonta, man, when I looked up because I was looking up his Wikipedia just to look at his record and stuff, see who he was, where he was from, because I didn't know if he was a local product or not. So I was
Yeah.
trying to figure all that out. And then I saw the arrest record, and I was like this ain't no one-time thing. Like it was 2017, 2019, 2020, and in 2020
how you stay in shape.
he in 2020 he got arrested for a wreck that he was in and fleeing the scene. He pled guilty to fleeing the scene, so it wasn't like, oh, they're just making it up or something. Like he pled guilty to it, and apparently he's going to be sentenced on May 5th of this year. So he's still dealing with that. And then in December of 2022, he was arrested for domestic violence, and that ended up being dismissed because the woman took it back. Like, the dude is going through a lot of stuff. So if you're going for Gervonta right now, like, you have these high values, like, oh, I don't like this guy because of this history. Like, you shouldn't be going for Gervonta. You should be going for Ryan Garcia. Or maybe that's just my opinion because I like Ryan Garcia. And
Sounds like
after finding out how bad of a person Gervonta Davis is, I'm like, you know what?
I'm
I
not gonna
like
cheer for
Ryan
that guy.
Garcia even more.
So, well, with that, I guess that's gonna wrap it up.
Yep, that's it.
So, well, thanks for watching another episode, and
Like, follow, and subscribe.
absolutely like, follow, subscribe, YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. We'll share all the links. Facebook page. We're up to 74 members in the page, and we're pretty active. I mean, we post things in there, and we're starting to get engagement from you guys. So the more y'all get engaged, the more y'all get involved. We are not scared to answer. We're not scared to debate you.
Oh yeah,
You
oh,
can
yeah.
call us
I'll get on it.
stupid. We'll
Especially
tell
with
you
my
why
mock
we're
drafts.
stupid.
I'll get on it.
So please keep coming in.